Oh, that's not good. All right. Welcome back. Don't talk about what we're talking about. How do you not talk about what you're talking about?
That was an interesting one there.
That's what she said. Split layers in small pieces.
Like the Star Wars shirt.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
I'm saving up the latest series that's on what Disney Plus or whatever.
Nice, yeah. The Acolyte one. Right?
Yeah, there you go. I'm also trying to avoid all the negative press because I just.
People said the same thing about, was it Ahsoka, but I love that.
Yeah, that was good. I like the Obi-Wan series.
Oh, yeah, yeah. On negative stuff.
Well, social media is still everything. We'll wait for everyone to sign on in and take a seat, and we'll get moving the rest of our action pack.
Don't tell the chief.
I didn't.
Oh, good.
Okay, Chief Carmen taking a seat. Let's go ahead and pull it back together. Okay, first, welcome everyone to the June Hubbard City Council meeting. Says Cal. This meeting is being held in a hybrid format here at the Hubbard City Hall and via Zoom, as well as being live streamed by YouTube or on YouTube. That should be. Thank you for joining us this evening and using whichever format works best for you. I would say to begin this meeting, we'll do the pledge, but before we've done the pledge, before we went into an executive session, if anyone missed it, I apologize, we'll do it later. But other than that, we're just going to keep driving forward. Before we move forward, council, we do have an agenda item that was added for consent 14J. Before we move on, there is a laundry list on consent agenda, and I'll look around to see if there is any topic that needs to be pulled out for regular discussion. We'll start with Councilor Donald. I do not, thank you. Councilor Steiner?
I don't have any.
Councilor Thomas?
I have no.
Councilor Rogers? We'll keep it as written then. With that, let's go ahead and move on to the first topic, calendar of ordinances, City Administrator Strong Wick.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. At the Main City Council meeting, Council directed staff to revise the ordinance to make it clear related to the fees that are associated to the blank areas that were in the initial ordinance. That has since been revised and the resolution updated with the correct fees. So now we're just here for council to approve.
Okay, so just to correct my process here, we're going to go ahead and read by title only for the ordinance and then request a motion to pass, of course, for the resolution, correct? So we're going to have two things in here.
You read by title only and then adopt for the ordinance.
Perfect, okay.
Okay, so I make a motion to read by title only for first reading.
I second. Okay, ordinance number 388-2024, an ordinance amending the Hubbard Municipal Code to add chapter 8.18 burglary and robbery alarms.
Make a motion to read by title only for second reading. I second that.
Okay, ordinance number 388-2024, an ordinance amending the Hubbard Municipal Code to add chapter 8.18 burglary and robbery alarms.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance number 388-2024. I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed say nay. Okay, that ordinance passes. Now we have resolution number 772024, resolution setting burglary and alarm and robbery alarm permit and false alarm fees to be effective December 1st, 2024. So any discussion on that before we move forward on? Councilor Rogers? Councilor Young?
No. I do not.
Across the board. Hey, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we adopt resolution number 772024, resolution setting burglary and robbery alarm permit and false alarm fees.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Carries unanimously. Did you screw any of that up?
You're good.
Okay. This weird way to have that look on her face. I'm like. All right, that was record timing there. Next one. You want to make sure that we're on live?
No, we're good. She's
Okay.
been setting up my PowerPoint for the budget presentation.
Oh, perfect. Okay, public hearing. This one's going to be a few. It's going to be the budget for fiscal year 2024, shared revenue discussion, as well as supplemental budget for fiscal year 2023-24. Want me to hand it over to you then, Administrator White, right now?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Council. We're gonna start with the supplemental budget, and open a public hearing on the supplemental budget. This is a cleanup item as staff prepares to close out, fiscal year 24. At the beginning of the fiscal year, the reserve for future expenditure line items in the sewer fund was entered incorrectly. This supplemental budget reduces that line item by $95,531, which creates a balance fund.
Okay, with that, is there any questions or concerns by council before we open the public hearing on that one?
No questions.
No question.
No questions.
No, please.
Script to read, open for public hearing? I can just make it out. Okay, with that, actually, do we need to do that? It's already been, it just says here supplemental budget for fiscal year, public hearings. Let me see, what time is it right now? 7:10. I guess we can open, the, discussion for public input for the supplemental budget for fiscal year 2023-2024 and the amendment for public comment. Time is 7:10. Any public comment? Okay, without public comment, we'll go ahead and close that at 7:10 then. I would like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 7832024, resolution approving a supplemental budget for the fiscal year 2023-24. Make a second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay, with that, we'll move on to the state shared revenue.
Okay, thank you, Council. So this is required by Oregon, the public budgeting law, where I present the approved budget to City Council. So this presentation will not take that long, and we don't have to go as in-depth into the budget review as we did during the budget committee meeting that was held on May 15th. It was presented to council, today is the approved budget through the budget committee for fiscal year 25, concluding presentations by the department heads and city administrator and discussions of the budget committee members. There were 3 changes from the proposed budget reflected in the approved budget for council's consideration. So those changes include 40,000 that will be taken from the projected ending fund balance for fiscal year 24 for capital outlay in the general fund for replacement of city hall windows. Second is $72,000 has been budgeted in the reserve fund for police department and city hall security upgrades. And third, this item actually wasn't included in the approved budget, and we're adding it in, well, it wasn't approved in the proposed budget. It was not approved by the budget committee. It was just presented to me in between the time of the budget committee approval and council. So we received $20,000 from Business Oregon, for reimbursement of some of the costs associated with the wastewater treatment, plant facilities, studies. So I have added that into, our budget as well to offset costs associated with that. So that is something that happened in between the budget committee and today. So that is something new. So next, we need to open a public hearing for fiscal year 24-25 state shared revenues for and approve resolution 780-2024 and 781-2024. Public hearing is required when local government is accepting state shared revenue funds. The city has two resolutions associated with this, as I have mentioned. The city of Hubbard is eligible to receive state shared funds as they provide qualifying services such as utilities like water, sewer, storm services, police services, construction and maintenance, and planning, zoning, and subdivision control. The state shared revenues remain relatively stable, with the exception of the state marijuana tax, which continues to decline year over year as the state is continuing to hold on to that. So we do need to open a public hearing on the state shared revenues.
Okay, with that, I will go ahead and open up the public hearing for the state shared revenue. Current time is 7:14 p.m. And with that, I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to comment on or concerns around the shared revenue aspects of our budget? Then do we have anyone online? I'm assuming they would chime in. Okay. If there's no comment, then I'll go ahead and close public hearing on the state shared revenues at 7:14.
Okay, thank you.
30 seconds.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We'll go to our next public hearing requirement. So a public hearing is needed to approve the budget. So the city is presenting an approved budget of $16,174,317. The budget is balanced and complies with Oregon local budget law. An overview of the budget is required per budget law. So personnel services total $2.4 million. Materials and supplies total $1.5 million. Capital outlay totals $7.4 million, which the substantial increase from previous years is a result of the $1.1 million received from the legislature during the 2024 regular session for water and wastewater projects, and a low interest loan from Business Oregon totaling $1.7 million for the static water pressure project. Debt service of $25,000 has been budgeted for the final payment of the police vehicle program. There's interfund transfer of $195,000, and then contingencies of $4.4 million has been budgeted. This is significantly higher than fiscal year 24 as a result of a methodology change. All funds have a contingency budgeted up to 15% of the expenditure balance per budget law. Anything above the 15% was then budgeted in unappropriated fund balance or reserves for future expenditures. The methodology change was a result to ensure access of funds in case of an emergency. So now we need to open a public hearing.
Okay, with that, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing on the budget for fiscal year 2024-2025. It is 7:16. 7:17, actually. Is there any public comment or concerns about the proposed budget? Okay, if not, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 7:17.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to the final action to approve our fiscal year 2024-2025 budget. So I need a motion as read on the screen.
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution 784-2024, adopting the budget, making appropriations leveling and
levying.
categorizing property taxes for fiscal year 2024.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the budget. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay, done.
Yay.
By the way, I want to make a comment. This, budget cycle has been very smooth. Administrator Wade, department heads, thank you. Wonderful. Very good discussion during the budget committee for those that didn't get a chance to attend that. Lively discussion as well, but at the end of the day, very comfortable with what we did this year. Thank you. Let's move on. Discussion regarding photo enforcement cameras. Miss Sienas, I'm like, Don Parisi or Chief Parisi? Did I get your name even close?
Signs,
Oh,
like a
so I
stop
did
sign.
completely wrong.
Yeah. Totally okay. Well, good afternoon, Mayor and council members. My name is Gabriella Sines. I'm an account manager with Vera Mobility. I want to first start by saying thank you for allowing me to be here and present, as well as for the invitation of Chief Don Parisi. Hopefully I said that right. And my goal for today's presentation is to give an overview of what Vera Mobility is and a review how we can partner with the city of Hubbard for photo enforcement cameras. Here's the agenda that I will be speaking about who we are, some traffic trends and safety program results, some solutions, our turnkey program services that we provide, and making our roads safer for all, and leaving it with some questions and Q&A at the end. So who is Vera Mobility? We are the #1 global provider for smart mobility transportation in worldwide that enables safer for smarter roads, roads, and be more efficient with traffic trends and reducing collisions. We have roughly 300 customers worldwide, which that includes cities, municipalities, school districts across North America, Australia, and Asia, and Europe. We are the #1 provider, and we roughly have over 10,000 and counting systems on the roads worldwide. Our systems, we specialize in speed safety, red light safety, school safety, and bus lane mobility. So who do we serve? Here is a map of our clients and where we have programs for photo enforcement. The green states is where we currently have programs for photo enforcement. The gray states are unfortunately indicate that there's no legislation at this time for photo enforcement. Specifically to Oregon, we have 6 programs, which includes Albany, Medford, Salem, Sherwood, Tualatin, and Woodburn. I am fortunate to oversee 3 of those accounts here in Oregon. Vera Mobility, we are located in Mesa, Arizona, and we manage all of the programs globally. This is just a map of who we serve internationally. We have North America, we have Europe, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, India. So why choose an industry leader like Vera Mobility? We come with an expertise of over 20+ years of experience. We also gain access and execution by delivering resources and success. We focus on partnership with the cities that have been a long-standing partnership, with many of our programs being as long as 20 years.
and performance. Our goal is to change driver behavior. Going into some traffic trends. Here are just some national statistics from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Just in 2021, the motor vehicle fatalities has reached a 16-year all-time high. Fatalities increased from 2021 to 2022, primarily with cyclists at 8%, motorcyclists at 5%, and pedestrians at 2%. Typical U.S. driver lost 51 hours to congestion in 2022. Traffic crashes cost, according to American Society, it has over $340 billion for that in 2019. So what are cities doing to combat those statistics? Well, they're turning into safety mobility solutions. By switching to and turning into a safety mobility solution, it helps to change the driver's behavior by reducing crashes, injuries, fatalities. It also boosts mobility, reducing the traffic congestion and improve traffic flow, increasing efficiency, reducing the workload burden on law enforcement, and reducing dangerous driving, making the community, making the city streets safer for everyone, such as drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists. Here are some of our partner customers' results. Law enforcement seeing increased safety, reducing the need for law enforcement to engage in traffic stops, gain resources, enabling different departments to use their resources, freeing up officers to focus on more additional tasks. Automating actions, reducing the burden on officers to document violations manually. Enhancing evidence, providing accurate and detailed evidence package, which can also be used in court proceedings. And promoting compliance, just encouraging drivers to drive and obey traffic laws. Now, there's some myths regarding code enforcement. Here are some myths versus facts. One of them, that's very common, is it is too expensive for cities to implement. Well, it can be a cost-effective way for cities to improve safety. Most programs are designed to be violator funded, not taxpayer funded. Another myth that is very common is it is unfair because it only targets certain drivers. Code enforcement is applied equally to all drivers, regardless of race, gender, or socioeconomic status. The most safety programs start with a 30-day warning period, and the only drivers who receive citations are those who are violating traffic laws. Going into solutions. So here is our fixed red light and speed safety camera, which is our latest technology. This camera captures detects up to 6 lanes of traffic receding and moving away. It has a 3D HD radar. It has HD video. It has multiple cameras and LED illumination. And why does this technology matter? Our image quality ensures high enforcement rates. The low wattage LED lights, it provides targeted bursts of light, not affecting incoming traffic or any other in the intersection. Radar is more accurate and effective than LiDAR-based systems, especially in harsh weather conditions. And our system improves enforcement success rates. That leads to more streamlined processing of events, which are violations. You may ask, how does that work? In this picture, there's our radar camera with the power modem. We captured 3 images in a 12-second video. The first image, where you see image 1, the car, is the camera records the vehicle approaching the red light intersection. We then captured image 2, which records the vehicle going through the red light. And the third image is, we take a picture of the driver. And the reason why we take a picture of the face shot is because in the state of Oregon, it is a driver liability. Per law, we must take a photo of the driver. In addition, with those 3 photos, we provide a 12-second video. The first 6 seconds are the vehicle approaching the intersection on the red light, and the last 6 seconds is seeing the vehicle running through the red light. Here are some program highlights. What would you expect working with Vera Mobility? We have advanced technology, which is a very force multiplier to change driver behavior. We do provide end-to-end solutions from citation payments, from printing and mailing and beyond. And you also have an local account management team that will help through managing the program, as we currently do right now for the 6 cities that we have in Oregon. Just as I mentioned, what we offer from installation to paid citation and beyond, we've got you covered. We are responsible, fully take on the cost of equipment, installation, maintenance, reporting, public awareness. We do have a public affairs and marketing team that will reach out to the public, to the community during the warning period of the cameras that are now in the community. Here at Vera Mobility, we are the #1, worldwide with border enforcement. And the reason why we're #1 is because our access platform, that is our processing violations platform that we use, it captures all the citations. This is what law enforcement will review. They will log in. And on my next slide, you will see what law enforcement or any issuing authority will be able to view on their end. But it is a very easy to use system. I would say 98% of our clients enjoy utilizing our back office. This is the law enforcement review within our access platform. An issuing authority, personnel, law enforcement may take less than 30 seconds to view a violation and approve or reject. So on the left-hand side, you see 4 images. You see the image of the vehicle approaching the intersection with the red light. You see the vehicle proceeding through the red light. You have a zoom-in picture of the license plate and the picture of the face shot. On the right-hand side, the big screen, that is the 12-second video. On top of the video, there's a data bar. In that data bar, it shows the location of the camera, what intersection, the date and time, what is the posted speed limit of that intersection, what was the driver's speed limit at that intersection, and that's all accordingly to what the city and PD want in that data bar. Down below, you will see the license plate number, the make, model, color, even style and year. And there's a red button and a green button. The red one is a reject and the green button is approve. If law enforcement or the issuing authority approves, our back-end system will issue a violation and we will print and mail. So typically it takes about less than 30 seconds to make a decision if the PD wants to issue the violator a ticket. Part of our services, we also provide payment services that's convenient for the citizens, the community. If a violator receives a violation, they can go online to view their pictures and their video, and they can choose to pay, or depending on the city, they can choose to go for a court hearing, or depending how it is set up with receiving payment for a violation. Within our same access platform, there's also court support. This is where we add all the evidence package, expert witness testimonies, and all this data that's on this page, we can transfer it into the court systems of the city. In addition to our access platform, we also provide robust reporting. That's included with our access platform. We provide reports that is easily accessible to go on and download a report. You can find information as financial statistics, processing reports, and also we can customize reports for the city's request. Now, question, that may be asked is, well, how do we get this implemented? Well, once a contract is signed with pricing approved through the city, we receive a notice to proceed. We start with milestone 1. This is a launch meeting where we come into alignment with the city, the PD, project management, and account management from Vero Mobility. After that is completed, we then move into milestone 2, where we define the business rules and the construction rules. In the state of Oregon, for state highways, if anyone is adding cameras for state highways, the Department of Transportation must conduct an engineering studies of their own and permits as well. That's where we also will discuss what is a violation. For example, if an ambulance is running through a red light, do you want our processors to send it over to the PD for them to review, or do you want us to automatically reject that? So that's where we'll get aligned with the city and the PD. As we finish defining that, we then go into milestone 3, where we start building. This is where our project management team and construction, field services come into play. We will do an on-site analysis. We already completed a engineering study on our end for an intersection, but this is where the building takes place. Now, once all the cameras are installed, ready to go, we then go to go live, which is a 30-day warning period. This also is where our public affairs team and marketing team, they do their due diligence on making, speaking to the community and having that outreach, as well as training for the PD who will be processing and approving violations. Now, this is just a recap of let's make our road safer for all. We do have over 20 years experience with enhancing safety. We have about, in counting, 7,500 cameras just in the US and Canada alone. We have processed over 50 million violations globally. And we have data, a proven record for safety-driven and changing driving behavior. Connect with us on social media, on LinkedIn, Facebook, our websites, Twitter, and YouTube. And I believe that concludes my presentation for today.
Any questions?
One question, you said you had done a study on, I'm assuming the one intersection where we have a stoplight. Do you have stats on that, or what came out of that?
Yeah, so the stats, I don't have it in front of me, but the 4 intersections, the intersections that are received, it's all constructible. There is, I can provide that to you as well. There is an estimation of approximately how many citations. If I recall, roughly about 3 to 5 citations per day after an 18-month period. That's typical. If I recall checking out Woodward's site location survey, of course, it does increase or it can minimize depending that the community now knows that there's cameras there. But yeah, the location is compatible to having photo enforcement cameras.
Thanks.
It doesn't seem like the camera would necessarily cover itself. Is there a minimum amount the system must bring in before the city has to backfill the cost?
A great question. No minimum. So the next step will be a proposal of prices. Here in the state of Oregon, there's 2 ways for pricing or how to pay for this. One of it is a flat fee, where it's an option that you'll just pay for the camera and the services, not dependent on citations. Or there's a per paid citation, so whatever citation The city captures and law enforcement approves a percentage of that.
And the city would be responsible for the engineering of ODOT, signage, permits, all that.
So we handle all that. So it also depends, right? The city may choose, okay, we don't want to handle any signage, there's no cost upfront, we take on those costs. And that is what's implemented in our financial model. So when I propose, a proposal of pricing, we will take that into consideration.
Councilor Yami or Councilor Steiner?
What kind of, what do you guys do as far as like protecting data and making sure it doesn't get leaked somewhere? Along with, do you use any of these reports to like provide data places as far as traffic and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so all of our data, the city actually owns our data. So we do have a lot of requests where we get citizens calling in, hey, I want to report, or, this is not valid. We actually have to get approval from the city to release any public information. So it is, in our access platform, we have all that, in there. We don't release the data unless we're instructed from the city to release that data, but the city owns it. And yes, reporting is very accessible. I would say we have over more than 80 to 100 reports. That's all accessed through the city and PD only, as well as any employee for variability. Yeah, so it's just depending on the city, we have to get approval. You guys own the data.
So you contract with the city of Woodburn, so your company is the one that runs those cameras down. So, I haven't gotten any tickets, however, observations, there's some days that those things are just sitting there flashing everybody right through the intersection. I mean, literally, it looks like a disco going on. The lights are just flashing away. Take a picture of everybody. I know I've made up my picture taken over there, and I'm going along, all of a sudden I get a splash, and I'm not doing anything wrong. Really, I'm not. And so I just kind of, I know they have certain, issues in that arena. Our traffic problems are a lot, I would say much less about people running a red light and more about our traffic backing up, and we get rear-end accidents. We have had, unfortunately, people that have been killed with right-hand turners. One morning I was trying to turn left going north on 99. It was a foggy morning, and somebody was wearing their light gray sweats crossing the road. And I just barely caught the movement. Look at it. So I don't know if, Hubbard is really up for that right now. You said 5 to 6 a day is the standard, for most red lights, that you said. So I'd like to see more about a cost benefit before I would, say yes, that's for sure.
I guess my 2 cents, and we just went through a budget review. We had to trim quite a lot of money. We're still looking at maintaining and mitigating costs. We've had to implement a safety fee, so we've already actually had to increase fees. We've got one stoplight in town. I think the biggest problem we do have red runners. It just drives me crazy. The caution here is before when that light turns green, double check before you go. But I just don't know. I would have to agree with Councilor Young on the cost benefit analysis. I think this is awesome. I think it'd be neat to see something like this, but I also know coordinating with ODOT would be an absolute possible nightmare, because that is a state road. But other than that, this is one of those things that it's a nice to have, but it's not a must have, in my opinion, right now. That's my 2 cents, though. So I guess this was a discussion. Were we hoping for anything more, Chief Greasy, or is it more informative at this point?
Well, yeah, it was just a discussion to try to help with the, traffic enforcement and public safety within the community where you're not always, able to have a police officer at and or to help with staffing.
Is there a way to get a cost benefit out of it without, like some sort of I'm forgetting the right word or term right here. But some preliminary numbers to get an idea, I mean, is this 80,000 or is this 500,000? I mean, there's a big delta there, and I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, that would be my next step, proposing that. I think will be crucial, because it's something that you guys do wish or think about implementing in the future. I think what would be best is a per paid citation. So you don't pay us anything. If there's no violations, you don't pay us anything, because there's no violations. And we get a percentage. If a violation is $60 and we come to agreement that we get $15 from that, then that's what you guys pay us. And what we invoice you is per citation. Woodburn, for example, they're also a per citation. So there is months where there's not a lot of violations. So there's only 20 violations, and that's what we invoice them. We get a piece of that, that cost that you're charging the violator for speeding. And going back to yours of Woodburn having a lot of flashes, so we do have a technical support who actually they manage the cameras, and we do have a processing team. Before a violation gets to the PDQ, to our access platform, we have a team of processors actually in Oregon and in California and Arizona. If it's too foggy, you can't see anything, they'll be automatically dismissed. If there's an issue, technology-wise, that it's just what's going on, then yeah, that would now be counted. It would not be sent to the police department for their to review. But it's also crucial for police officers to also review. You know, there is times where police officers, they can just approve, and not necessarily looking at what we provided them. So we do have a processing team, we do have a IT team that manages the cameras on a daily basis. There's also live video. So if there was a collision, we have 24-hour live video of those cameras as well. And we can retain it depending on what the city decides. We can retain that footage up to 90 days, 120 days. It's really up to the discretion of the city.
I think for now, my suggestion might be that to table it, so we can go back and discuss it further, so we could also move the meeting along. But other than that, is there any other last minute questions for Ms. Simon?
Science, yes.
No questions.
Questions, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Very
much for having me.
Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to discussion regarding fiscal year 2024-2025 strategic plan. We'll hand it over to Administrator White.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Over the past several months, City Council has been working on identifying goals and priorities for fiscal year 25. Council finalized the goals and priorities during the May 14th City Council meeting and directed staff to develop a project list and timeline. Attached is a draft strategic plan that includes a project list and timeline in which staff will use to guide them through the implementation and project planning for next fiscal year. The project list would be a living document that's brought back to council for consideration. Staff is requesting that council approve the strategic plan.
Okay, and so basically the biggest part would be you have this nice little chart here that kind of shows when you plan to move forward, kind of review what we've got. It makes sense to me at least. Discussion of Councilor Rogers, any concerns?
No, I like the way it's laid out.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you.
Councilor.
I'm assuming it'll, as these projects get ended, we'll add new projects. That's why it's a living document, right?
Correct, yes.
I like it, thank you.
Councilor Allen?
Have no questions, looks good, thank you.
You're looking for approval of it. Is it good enough for consensus, or do we need to make a motion on it? Because it's not an ordinance or a resolution, right? It's just mainly we're good to go.
Make a motion.
All right. Everything's always a motion.
Move forward with the fiscal year 2024-25 strategic plan.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Okay, next one, discussion regarding the dog park location. Again, back over to Administrator Wade.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and Council. At the March 12th City Council meeting, staff presented a grant opportunity with the Oregon Department of Parks and Recreation, in which fencing for a dog park would be an eligible project for grant funds. council approved resolution 772-2024, which identified Wolford Will as a location of the proposed dog park. Since that time, council and staff have received concerns from community members regarding the location of the proposed park. Staff is seeking council direction as to if the city should withdraw the grant application and should resolution 772-2024 be repealed.
So my recommendation is not to repeal, but to amend the resolution to make it a park location to be determined, or whatever we can use for wording on it, or a site once identified. And we're well ahead on the grant application. I think to see us lose the potential of the fencing dollars.
Yeah, I agree. I've tried to explain this multiple times to people in the community that we had to select a site to apply for the grant, based on community feedback. I've heard nothing but negative, so I agree that there has to be a different location, but if we can get the grant money for a dog park at a different location, then we should. move forward.
Councilor Rogers?
I agree.
Councilor Stein?
I was under the impression we had to have a location for the grant. Is that not the case?
That is one thing, Mayor, Council. I was just talking to Melinda about this and we'll double check on that. But one of the things that I think is possible, that if Wolford Will is not the location, if we can identify something pretty quickly, I think we would be okay amending the location. But we'll double check on that and come back to council.
Any other concerns from Councilor Gunn?
No, sounds good to me. I initially voted against the ordinance myself, so, yeah, let's see if we can find another location, if we can continue with the, location of to be decided.
Well, I do know from the community visioning thing, dog park was the literally top thing that everyone mentioned over and over again.
As long as it's not there, that good.
Yeah. We'll find a good location. Okay, do you need any more direction from us on that one, or we'll come back next month on it?
We'll come back next month. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. With that, let's move on to appearances of interested citizens. I'll hand it over to Director Vogel.
This is an opportunity for members of the public to inform the council about their views. The city council will not be entering into a dialogue during this time. However, the city administrator may direct staff to follow up with you regarding your comment or questions. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. I don't have anyone signed up. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to address the council?
If not, we're just gonna keep plowing through then. Thank you all. Let's move on then to discussion regarding renaming the Memorial Springs Splash Fountain, which, by the way, I never knew it was actually, is it called Memorial Springs? I never knew that. Either way, for those that aren't aware, Larry Craighhauser passed away last month. He was the driving force really behind getting the splash fountain brought up. I had a few residents prior to approach me about possibly honoring him in a sense of renaming the splash fountain to be the Larry Craighhauser, the Craighhauser Splash Fountain, whatever we decide. But something to just kind of honor him for the effort he put in there. If anyone never got a chance to, he would bring out his photo album book and he would show you pictures from inception all the way through the end and then tell you how he got it all. Wonderful discussion, wonderful man. With that, with his passing as well, I would just like to bring up and make a recommendation that the council move forward and rename the splash fountain, which is, I've always called it the splash fountain. Something to honor him at TBD. I don't know if we want to call it a Craighhauser Splash Fountain or Larry Craighhauser. Okay.
I always refer to it as like the Hubbard City Council. I would like it to be his full
name.
Agree.
Great. Agree. Okay, what do we need to do to make this happen?
In the past, we have just done a motion, but if you guys want to be more formal, we can draft up a resolution.
I can just make a motion, and I would like to make a motion that we rebrand the Memorial Springs Splash Fountain to be called the Larry Craighhauser Splash Fountain.
keep the Memorial Springs.
Memorial Springs.
All the titles are still around.
Okay, so do you have a motion? How would you like to propose it? Because now I'm getting confused.
I would like it to be the Larry Creek Thousand Memorial Spring Splash Mountain,
There you go.
simply because there's still.
There's a
animals
lot.
down there. And Larry was spirited.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right. He was a great man. He will be
Just to
missed.
follow up real quick, Mayor and Council, so we will get a memorial plaque to put out there, that has that, title.
It'd be great too, if we can get some social media posts as well, just to let the family know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, with that, mayor and for council presentations, I'll go last. Councilor Rogers? Councilor Thomas?
I've done things.
Councilor Young?
I do not have anything, thank you.
Councilor Standing?
Actually, I have something. I had a wonderful time on it was Saturday, right? Just going around door to door on part of the town, being able to invite people to the open house that we're having on the 25th of June. It was really good. I had some really great interactions with some people in the community, and I really appreciate all the work that the city staff is doing to let people know about changes and being proactive to go out and answer questions before they do. And I had a really good time just joining in on that. And so thank you for letting me, and it was a great time in the community.
Okay, I'll make mine short and sweet. I do want to thank both Councilor Steininger as well as Minister Wade out walking, knocking on doors. I've never seen quite the outreach that we're trying to do on this. So the feedback's been great, and getting to see Steininger halfway through Saturday when he was exhausted was fun as well. Next one, North Marion School District has hired a new superintendent. I wanted to thank Chief Parisi for coming down to the open community forum on that one. And again, great feedback coming from the school district in terms of appreciation for our police department and their contributions. It goes a long ways, and they bring it up as a great way for building just the trust and relationship that our youth need with our police officers or any department at that. The next one is, again, shout out and thank you to Public Works for bringing the fountain up. If you haven't noticed, every day for the last 2 weeks, we've seen kids down there playing, except for the day that it rained. Surprise, no one wants to play in it when it's raining. But other than that, at least it is up. Even if we do have little function issues here and there, it is still great to see the kids out and enjoying it. So thank you. Also, appreciation just generally, G Street is looking better. Parts of the city are looking a little bit cleaner. So whoever's doing the cleanup or the work on that, it is being recognized. So thank you. That's all I've got. So with that, we can move right on to the city administrator reports, and we'll start with the police department. No, we'll start with administrator. Got myself.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The burn rate of the report is attached to the packet. The city was 92% through the fiscal year as of May 31st, 2024. The general fund is still on track to be approximately $110,000 under budget by June 30th. The general fund received significantly more revenue and franchise fees, building permits, and interest income and miscellaneous income. The miscellaneous income was associated with the reimbursement of training costs for Officer By when he transferred from the city of Hubbard to the Canby Police Department. There's one area that I'd like to point out. The ARPA fund reflects unearned revenue of approximately $1.6 million. This is associated with grants such as Marion County that are on a reimbursement basis. And so revenue is recognized when the city submits a reimbursement request to the county and they pay the city back. As the static water pressure project enters the construction phase, the reimbursement process will move much faster. As council is aware, PGE and Northwest Natural Gas has increased rates this fiscal year between 7 and 15.9%. Utilities are projected to exceed budget line items across funds by 4% as a result of those increases. There's another anticipated rate increase of 7% for next fiscal year, and that was taken into consideration when building the fiscal year 25 budget. Additionally, staff requested that council approve and staff to sign a contract with Business Oregon for the $1.1 million the city was allocated during the 2024 regular legislative session for water and wastewater projects. It was anticipated that the contract would be received and be required to be returned to Business Oregon by June 1st. And then staff was supposed to return to this council meeting and discuss terms and conditions of that contract. However, to date, staff has not received the contract from the state, but the intent is to have staff share information with council when the contract is received. So I just wanted to provide follow-up on that. Any questions on that piece of it? Okay. There are 2 town hall meetings that are scheduled. One is tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at North Marion Middle School in the Commons area. The city of Hubbard and city of Donald are holding a joint meeting to discuss policing services that the Hubbard Police Department will be providing the city of Donald. This is open to both communities and everyone's invited. We also have one, as Councilor Senator mentioned, June 25th, and it will be at the Fire Hall in Hubbard from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And this is a broader topic conversation, so it'll include topics such as police services, the public safety fee, monthly utility billing, and any other topics that the community would like to discuss. I would like to thank the counselor for helping me. We're still not totally done. There's some more houses we need to hit yet. But we handed out flyers that not only highlighted the town hall, but also discussed, some of the topics that we'd like to talk about at the town hall, and then movies in the park that's going to occur on June 21st. So additionally, just as a highlight, staff is working on an economic development plan that will be brought forward to council in August for consideration. That's going to include some revenue options as far as maybe an urban, or not an urban growth boundary. I just went like urban renewal. One of those urban things. And some other options that we have as far as enhancing our downtown area. So that's all for my report.
Any questions for Administrator Wade before we move on?
No questions, thanks.
Councilor Young? No, thank you. Yeah, let's move on to police report.
All right.
Crazy.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, members of the community. Well, May was a great month. We got to graduate a police officer from DPSSD, Officer Staff, and he's now back here with us doing his field training. We also hired on a very experienced, well-tenured 16-year veteran police officer who lateraled to the police department from a nearby agency, and Officer Marshall, and he's just been doing great, hit the ground running and whatnot. In fact, it felt really good today. We had like 5 officers on, so the only one that wasn't was Officer Bentley, who's in Paris. So, but kind of old news. The first part of May as well. City Administrator Wade and I got to participate in a little discussion about police services there in Donald, so we did that as well. But of course, we know all that's been approved, and we're really looking forward to July and starting that. Also in May, we were active and busy engaging with the community also at North Marion School District with the primary school there as they were preparing to register for next year's school. Sergeant Anderson and I got to be there along with the Hubbard Fire Department and Aurora Fire Department, as well as a great showing of our local public safety services and just the partnership that we share with each other in collaborating to engage with our community in a positive way. To like the mayor said, continue, those trusting relationships and expand on those. So that was exciting. And research is still underway regarding body worn cameras, in-car cameras, and technology such as that will just further advance us towards the 21st century policing efforts. And keeping our community safe, and also our officers and staff and what have you. So that's been a real eye opener, and listening to all the different vendors and whatnot too. So I think that's about it. In closing, we just want to thank you for your tremendous support of the police department and all of us who serve the Hubbard community, as well as the members in the community here. We couldn't do it without you guys, and so thank you.
Beautiful.
Oh, shoot, yeah, thank you. She's awesome. Got an awesome boss. You guys already knew that, though. No, yes, yeah, I got it written down too. But when I turned the page, it was all over. I just wanted to update you guys a little bit on our police fleet. As you know, we have 6 vehicles. The 4 newest vehicles are 2021 Ford Interceptors, and they're giving us the most havoc right now, if you will. And they've got pretty low miles. I mean, they're getting up there in years, I suppose, about 3 years now. So, but some of them are like 19,000, 15,000, 21,000 miles or whatnot. But we've noticed some issues with those. We've been having, fortunately, every single one of them has had like a front differential seal leak, which fortunately is still covered under the powertrain warranty, as I understand it. But other than that, the warranty was gone. So that's fortunate. However, we have one that the water pump just went out, and we're actually looking right now too in the rear shocks of those vehicles in terms of having a leak and whatnot too. So we're investigating that. I just got word just before the meeting as well of repairs to one particular vehicle. We're going to confirm tomorrow if it's covered under warranty. I'm not sure if it is, and if it's not, that will be a bill of about $2,300 that was unexpected, you know, for the repairs of that vehicle. So, but anyways, we're just keeping a close eye on them, trying to take as good care of them as we can, and all that good stuff. So, just wanted to share that.
Okay, any questions for Police Chief Greasy?
No question, thanks.
Thank you.
So, and these are leased to own, or do we own these by now, or?
I believe we own them by now.
So they're leased to own, we have one final payment of $25,000 that will happen in fiscal year 25.
Okay, and they're still paying on these things and starting this trouble. So, besides the warranties on them, is there any way of going back and saying, hey, you sold us bad products?
Only when someone can call us about an extended warranty.
Okay, I'm just kind of curious where we are on that. Thank you.
Okay, I don't have any other questions. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Let's move on to the Administrative Department, Director Normal.
The election packets are available to come in and pick those up and get submitted. The next item that I have is some land use planning. We are having a planning meeting on next Tuesday, and we're going to be having a work session regarding expanded mixed use opportunities, allowing residential development beside or behind a commercial building rather than above, which is what is currently allowed in the code. And that will be a work session with planning, and then we'll come to the city council. Probably will be a joint work session with council and planning to have that conversation.
So the potential city council work session with the planning commission that you're thinking of on July 16th, is that the one where you're thinking of the combined?
Yes,
So do you need kind of consensus from us if we can attend that day?
not
Okay.
yet. That's in the future.
So, is there a specific piece of land they're looking at to change, you know, we're changing this, or are we just increasing our available lands within
There could be a potential piece of property, but nothing on paper at this point.
the, okay, so. All right,
We're still working on the buildable lands inventory and for the comprehensive plan update. And the letters in regards to the D Street have been mailed out, so that's all gonna be kind of a package deal as we move forward on that. E-News, the second one went out, and it's growing, our recipients are growing. Oh, that was kind of. What's happening in Hubbard, growing. Sorry. It's a long day for me. Please get your articles in by June 13th.
Any questions for Director Noble?
No questions, thank you.
June 13th, that's like,
Thursday.
I'll get mine done. Yes, I will.
I'll remind you.
I missed that when I went through the packet. Okay, any other questions, Councilor Senior, Councilor Yonlin, Councilor Rogers? Okay, let's move on then to Public Works Department.
Mayor and councilors, you've got my report. I've got a couple of things to add to that. We're kind of celebrating because, we've got all the details hammered out for the G Street sidewalk project. There was some issues with the railroad and we got those hammered out, and we went ahead and had the contractor at this point. He's gonna submit the, application to work within the right of way. So everything's moving along again like it should.
Any ETA yet on an actual pour?
No, we don't, because
This season though?
that's the plan.
Okay.
We had a little bit of an issue with, they came out and did some work on the crossing and they told us that they had put in the extra, piece of track coverage and they hadn't, so we went back and forth until the guy went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's supposed to be 6. That's what we told him. So he's got in contact with the maintenance people and they're gonna be coming out when they come out to do it, but we've got it hammered out, we got a plan.
All right, we have agreement with Union Pacific.
Also, if you notice that on the corner of, 3rd and J, we have, poured a little extra concrete over there because we keep having problems with, the truck drivers driving over the curb. They broke the sidewalk. They took out the fire hydrant, about 18 months ago.
Yep.
So we put up a couple of ballards and reinforced the, concrete sidewalk right there.
Good, I did notice activity down there, so thank you. I'm assuming the homeowners probably appreciate that things are there now to prevent the fire hydrant from getting knocked out again.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then, still, working through the splash fountain. We've got a few issues, waiting on some parts.
okay, and then on the backside, I do see that we have administrator manager Pullinger here. Is there anything you want to detail on your report?
Actually, just one add-on unless, Mayor and Council have questions. I did want to mention, so we did have the add-on to the consent agenda for the, request to award, the equipment procurement for the filter system for, the water systems improvement project. So to back up a little bit on that, though, we did actually have a request for bids for 3 components, 3 equipment components. Unfortunately, the filter was the only one we actually received bids on. So what we're doing now is we're trying to, in order not to delay the project timing, we are moving forward quickly to try to get funding agency approval to direct award those 2 additional pieces of equipment, which are the pumps and the generators. So hopefully you should hear by the end of this week from the funding agency if that's going to be approvable by them, and then we'll move forward to work directly with the vendors and see if we can get the vendors on board. So.
Perfect. Yeah, I do see it on the consent agenda too. Spring cleanup, thank you guys for, again, getting and doing that. I read that one was overflowing. Did we look at those at R&D again this time?
Yes.
Perfect. I think that's a great location. Again, Juan's the one who suggested that one, I believe. So yeah, again, excellent suggestion. I did see it on the, whatchamacallit, the timetable for the tennis court refurb. What's the ETA on that then? Are we gonna be done before August or September?
No, actually, so Melinda and I were just discussing that. So the time frame is actually shifting a little bit towards October.
Okay, to the right a little bit. Any questions for Public Works? We'll start with Councilor Rogers.
I have no questions.
Questions?
I have no questions, thank you.
Councilor Steiner?
I have no questions.
Councilor Yonlin? No questions. Okay, with that, let's move on. And we also then have the Hubbard Fire District Chief here. Chief Carmen, do you have anything new?
Yeah, thank you for giving me this time to talk. We ran 64 calls for service in May. That's down from May 2023, which we had 84 calls. So a little slower May for us, however, not actually that slow. We've been working on a lot of administrative stuff, working on a lot of grants. Tomorrow, we're getting ready to hire 2 seasonal employees. That's made possible through a grant from the Oregon State Fire Marshal's Office. That'll provide us 1 additional person, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., July 1st through October 31st. So really great opportunity for us, helps take a little bit of the workload off. We are about 390 calls for service to date today. We're going into our busiest season. So we run about 50% of the calls that we will run all year come in between July 1st and October 31st with going hand in hand with the wildland season. So we are going into our busy time of year, depending on how that goes. I do think that we will probably end our call volume for 2024 right around 1,000 calls for service again. So with that, we're also I'm implementing a formal fire inspection program. We haven't ever had a formal fire inspection program at the Hubbard Fire District, so that's new to us. We just got the computer tracking and software worked out for that. And I went and did some inspections over at Sungrow, east and west, to test that system out. Had some bugs that we need to work out, but looking to get that going. In addition to that, we have some folks that now have gotten training to do fire inspections, so we can start getting them out there and doing that. The significance is that that makes our places of business around here in the public places more safe for the employees and the citizens that visit them. So it's one way that we can reduce risk within the city and really take care of the people that are around us. Let's see, tomorrow we have a budget hearing for our 2024-2025 fiscal budget year. And then the board of directors will also be discussing the potential for a levy renewal in 2025. That's open to everybody. It's at the fire station. Tomorrow at 6:30 is when we're getting started. So if you want to come down and hear that, that'd be great. Or if you have something to add, that's encouraged as well. Any questions for me, guys?
Any questions?
I have one. Yeah, somebody was asking me about burning the other day, and I don't know, I think it was on county property, you know, the farms and stuff. But is there a season like when, you know, because you're still smelling smoke sometimes?
Yeah, so there is a season, but the season's fluid. It depends on what the weather's.
Okay.
There's a phone number. It's 503-98-20011. That's usually updated by 8 a.m. in the morning, and it'll tell you whether burning is allowed or not. It also tells you what time burning ends.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Chief Carter? Chief, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, let's move on. Next one will be the consent agenda. I will go through and read all these to include 14J. Okay, A, approval of the city council minutes, February 5, 2024 special and May 14th, 2024. Approval of the May 2024 check register report. Resolution number 777-2024, resolution authorizing an annual adjustment of systems development charges, amending resolution number 533-2012, and repealing resolution number 755-2023. D, a resolution number 778-2024, a resolution revising the transportation utility fees for the city of Hubbard and repealing resolution 756-2023. E, resolution number 779-2024, a resolution extending the city of Hubbard's workers' compensation coverage to volunteers of the city of Hubbard and repealing resolution number 758-2023. Resolution number 780-2024, a resolution certifying that the city of Hubbard provides 4 or more municipal services to be eligible to receive state shared revenues. G, resolution number 781-2024, a resolution declaring the city of Hubbard's election to receive state revenue pursuant to ORS 221.770. H, resolution number 7822024, a resolution amending compensation ranges for represented and non-represented employees and repealing resolution number 7622023. I, accept and authorize City Administrator Sean Wade to execute the notice of award and contract documents for the UV wastewater disinfectant system equipment procurement to Trojan Technologies Group, ULC, in the amount of $102,288. And J, accept and authorize City Administrator Wade to execute the notice of award and contract documents for the water system improvements project green sand filter equipment procurement to Tonka Water in the amount of $188,700 following the notice of intent to award time period. What did I screw up?
Just replace exhibit A of resolution number 782/2024.
Okay, as amended.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda as amended.
Second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, with that, the consent agenda is approved. Hold on. And we will need to somewhere. Perfect, there it is. Any other city business? City council.
I have none.
I'm just looking, yeah, department heads. Okay, if there is none, then council is going to go ahead and recess the open public meeting. Thank you all for attending. And convene a closed executive session to review and evaluate the employment-related performances of chief executive officer of any public body, public officer, employee, or state member who does not request an open hearing, ORS 192.6602I, pursuant to ORS 192.6604. The council specifically requests that members of the media and other attendees not disclose the matters discussed in the executive session.